Hello, everyone. Good morning, and thank you for joining us. And welcome to Ray Castle's latest live online session on our program, Developing Telecom Strategy and Business, a blueprint for leading effective business. This course explores key areas for essential for business success in the telecom industry. What sets it apart is the integration of these concepts into a comprehensive team-based business simulation, which runs throughout the 5-day program. It's a great way not only to understand the ideas, but also to apply them in a realistic and challenging environment. The training is designed for mid to senior managers, directors, specialists, consultants, and high potential talent working in telecommunications, connected innovation, and adjacent industries. The program has been ILM assured, which is a mark of excellence in learning and vocational training. The ILM assured status is strong validation for participants, as it guarantees that the training meets the highest standards of quality and best practice. Now I'd like to give a short introduction to us here at Ray Castle for those who are not familiar with us. So as you can see, we have the castle, which was the home to Ray Castle until 2004. We were founded in 1958, so Ray Castle has been around since the start of modern telecoms. We're the preferred learning and development partner for many high-tech industry giants, vendors, regulators, and governmental organizations. We have been supporting learners at all stages of their career, from new entrants to experienced engineers and senior staff across businesses, and we deliver in various ways of formats: on demand, live online, and in-person training. We've trained over 300,000 professionals from 85 countries worldwide. And our highly experienced course developers and instructors come with decades of experience from within the industry. A few housekeeping notes. Please may you keep your microphones muted throughout the presentation. And if you have any questions, please pop them in the chat box and we can do a Q&A at the end of Tony's session. And you will also receive a recording of this webinar. And now I'd like to pass on to Tony, who will be delivering this webinar on our program.
Thanks, Stephanie. Hi, everybody. Great to see so many people and a lot of old friends, actually. So welcome. Hopefully a lot of new people as well. Ray Castle, I was fortunate enough to work inside that magnificent building when we were making the transition to full on to the telecoms training from what was a Merchant Navy radio college. So I think I was very lucky. But just a little bit about myself before we start. So I'm full-time with Ray Castle. So that's all I do. I work for Ray Castle and I deliver telecoms training, technical strategy and business. And I've been doing that pretty much worldwide since 1996, not all of it with Ray Castle, but extensively in Europe, Middle East and Africa, as well as, I got back from Malaysia last week, delivering mini MBA type program over there, for example. So Asia as well and North America. I've been delivering mini MBAs in telecoms and high tech since 2005, and I'm fairly sure that when we stood up and did that first one in 2005, it was the first one in the industry, certainly in terms of being focused on telecoms. So I initially joined Ray Castle in 1996, and I rejoined in 2017. My previous roles, I'm ex-BT, so British Telecom has been a naming convention for those guys over the years, but BT, I was an engineer. I sponsored off to university, but I changed to the Navy and I flew helicopters for a while, which was great fun. Never saw the family, so I came back into training, back into telecoms in 1996. I've also spent some time running training startups, so actually running businesses within a big PLC in telecoms and innovation. So that's me. Right, so just a little bit of context, just to whet the appetite, just to sort of talk about why having a really holistic understanding of telecoms is important for people who are professionals in the industry and have made telecoms their career. telecoms operators are always faced with this graph, and it rears its head in various different forms. But you can imagine that you're the CEO and the CFO of a big telecoms company, and you sort of overseeing growth in the market. So whether that's initially when you introduce voice for mobile companies, or whether you're introducing mobile broadband, or going forwards when we start looking at things like AI for consumers, you see this sort of growth curve. And initially, when you first introduce a new product or service into the market, you can charge quite a high price for it. But of course, inevitably, the revenue profit per unit over time will decrease as markets get more and more competitive, and of course things saturate. And in telecoms, this whole idea is almost extreme in a way, because there are only so many customers in a market. And in telecom, certainly in mobile, they're all heading for that point where everybody's got a mobile, and they're all experiencing the next big thing in terms of services. And inevitably, telecoms companies at this point here, they look ahead, and they've got to go to the shareholders, and they've got to forecast a flattening of new customers, and they've got to talk about decreasing average revenue per user. And inevitably that drives changes in the industry. And we've seen it as we've delivered telecoms mini MBAs around the world. We talk to the management teams, and it drives really search for new revenues and search for reduced costs. And this diagram really has, over the years, driven the dynamic in telecom. So new revenues, looking for new services and products, new industry sectors, new customer segments, new geographies, new partnerships, and of course, getting into adjacent industries, which isn't always a great idea for a telecoms company for a whole number of reasons. But also looking for reduced costs. So focus, or identifying their core and their non-core services, which always takes some doing. Automation, reducing costs of people, outsourcing, insourcing, service level agreements, mergers and lots and lots of things to talk about. So inevitably, there is an underlying drive to do things differently. And of course, in telecoms, we look across to the hyperscalers, and we can trace it back. This only takes us to 2020, but we can come up with sort of an extension to this, which stays true to form, where telecoms companies, which is what we're showing at the bottom end of the graph there, total shareholder return for telecoms companies has been pretty flat over the last almost 2 decades. Whereas if you look at hyperscalers, or if you look at infrastructure companies, or if you look at ICT companies, they've actually managed to get more shareholder return. So if you combine that with the previous graph, you can see that telecoms companies are really looking to do things differently. And in fact, there's evidence. You can back this up with evidence. So if you look at the value multiples from a purely financial point of view, if you look at a traditional mobile or fixed, or even just a convergent operator, cable operators, for example, if you look at the enterprise value divided by the earnings before interest, tax, depreciation, and amortization, you're getting enterprise values of between 5 to 10 times the EBITDA value. Whereas if telecoms companies try and move towards a much more sort of digital position in telecoms, so digital service provider, that the evidence in terms of the finances has shown that you can probably get these multiples up to 20 to 35 times EBITDA values. And of course, there are sort of mid points in this continuum as well. So in reality, telecoms companies are trying to become this network-centric digital service provider, whatever it means to them. And in different regions, in different parts of the world, it will mean something slightly different. And it depends on the regulatory environment, and depends on the trends in that particular part of the world, and it depends on where that particular company is in terms of its timeline. But essentially, we're going beyond just general telecoms connectivity provision. It means adoption of IoT and M2M services and AI and collaboration and mobile applications and new services, a whole range of things. Now that really doesn't give us the scope, but effectively, if we try and move towards that, it requires telecoms companies to focus on customer centricity, agility, the ability to partner, and innovation. So agility. On the mini MBAs over the years, we've done a survey. We've asked management teams, how many signatures do you need to spend $100,000? The highest number of signatures was 22. The lowest was 3. So which company is going to be more agile? Which company is going to be able to embrace innovation? Which company is going to be able to position for the future better? And of course, it's the one potentially with 3, although there are some dangers there as well in terms of governance. But anyway, you can see that telecoms companies really need to make these changes. So if they're going to get into a position which enables them to build strong, sustainable competitive advantage, they really need to change their focus. And if you want to look at this in terms of specifics, not too many years ago, Vodafone took on thousands of new software developers, DevOps. But we're looking at automation, we're looking at AI, we're looking at machine learning, we're looking at frameworks. So rather than companies coming up with solutions, we're looking at them being able to position for all those other industries which are digitalizing, whatever that means to them, come into telecoms and saying, right, we've got a problem, we need to connect these customers and we want these sort of services. And the telecoms companies need to be ready. I'm going to say telecoms, it's wider than just telecoms. There's very much a grey edge around telecoms, and it's getting greyer all the time. But we need to think about frameworks and capabilities rather than services. So we need effective support of new use cases. So things like frameworks we're talking about is telecoms companies having 5G in place and multi-access edge computing and foundations for the metaverse and cloud networking and reducing complexity and infrastructure sharing and cost control. And all of that is enabled by the industry direction in terms of technology, but commercially and from an organizational point of view, to be able to make use of all of this, telecoms company they've got a lot of work to do, to move from legacy positions to positions which enable them to build sustainable competitive advantage and compete in the new world. It's going to take a lot of work. So that's what the course is about, really. It's about understanding all of that, or a lot of that, and enabling the ideas to flow, and for us to give you guys frameworks for developing your ideas, then for you to get together in your groups and come up with a plan. And a lot of it hinges on the technology, right? So you can think about lots of different strands to the new and emerging technologies. So data and intelligence, platforms and software, use cases and applications, networks and infrastructure. What we're trying to do, you can see by this diagram, although there's a lot of information on this diagram, there's a lot happening in telecoms. What we try and do throughout the course is we try and clarify things. We try and give real clarity. So you can see data and intelligence initiatives around things like machine learning, artificial intelligence, building on the foundation of big data and analytics. We talk about trust and blockchain, platforms and software, and the impact of things like quantum computing, not least on things like security. Talk about software and programming. We talk about digital reality. So all of this will sort of come through naturally through the week as you guys discuss in your groups as you develop your business simulation. Okay, so we've got a course which deals with it, which looks at the big ideas and tries to bring together all the different aspects of of the telecoms business, and hopefully in a way that makes a lot of sense and is aligned with the current trajectory of telecoms companies. The next public course is at King's College in London. So the campus, I believe, Stephanie, we've gone for the Strand campus. So it's right bang in the middle of London. So we'll be there, and hopefully we'll have a good cohort of people on the course, and we should have a bit of fun. And we're right in the middle of London just before Christmas. So I'm looking forward to it. 2nd to the 6th of December. So what is the program? Well, just in 4 different statements. The what? It's a comprehensive management program covering all the essential elements of effective business management and leadership, focused on telecoms. It's aimed at mid-senior managers from any telecoms organization and adjacent industries, whether fully established, moving up, aspiring, or identified talent. You know, I delivered dozens, possibly over 100 mini MBAs over the years, and it just works at a lot of different levels, because actually when you've got some really senior managers in telecoms, you know, we are all sort of subject to groupthink and sort of maintaining the status quo. Whereas if you've got somebody who's less experienced, maybe in from another industry, working with you in a team, it can bring fresh ideas. So this works really, really well. We've got a mix of different types of people from different disciplines, different industries, but also different seniority levels. But essentially, in the main, it's aimed at mid-senior managers. How? It's 1 week of workshops, competence building, and idea sharing. That I can't stress that enough. Idea sharing. You know, we don't have all the answers. There will be a lot of answers in the group, applied to your own context through business simulations, exercises, and case studies. Why? To enable better individual, team, and organizational performance. So things like faster decision making, tight alignment of activities, and greater confidence to embrace innovation and change. That tight alignment of activities, one question we always ask on the mini MBA type programs is, you know, what are some of your biggest problems at work? And very often it's siloization. Your marketing cannot align with technical cannot align with finance, and it's such a big issue for telecoms companies. Okay, so what level is it? So first of all, it leads to Raycastle certification. So we're a big name in the industry. You know, we are probably the first independent telecoms training company. A lot of people understand who we are. If you've got a course on your CV, it stands up. The conduct and outcomes of the program are pitched at academic level 7. So effectively, we've gone in at master's degree level, just because the way in which we deliver it means that it should involve you guys in in-depth study, specialized knowledge, and independent research. So some of the skills that you should come out with at the end is an enhanced ability to do that within the telecoms context. So what are the foundations for the program? Well, the delivery team has got 15 plus years. I mean, personally, I've got 19 years of delivering telecoms focused leadership and management training worldwide, you know, absolutely worldwide, from Fiji to Hawaii, Iceland to South Africa, and anywhere in between, including, I think over the years, the team, I think we have done Sudan, actually. I think we've done Sudan. Certainly South Africa, right, Eric? Training top management teams in telecoms and blue chip global high-tech industries. So including, so this is the team. So the team has trained companies like HP, Etisalat, Zain, Vodafone, MTN, FMB, amongst many, many others. But also the team has got C-level experience running successful businesses. So from small, medium enterprises to senior management in PLCs. So there's just a slide showing some of the companies that the team have trained. So you can see there, you can probably pick up lots of sort of European companies, but also African companies as well. Kazakhstan, for example, lots in the Middle East, Ooredoo, for example, Etisalat from Dubai. And Microsoft. I think the team have actually trained at one point Microsoft with Satya Nadia on the course. Okay, so who have we got for the December course? You've got myself as program director. So I'll be taking you for the Telecoms business, strategy and business. I've got 30 years in telecoms. I've also led in a big PLC. I've been delivering mini MBA type courses since 2005. We've got Gordon. Gordon's an absolute specialist in leadership and people management. He's been in industry, very senior positions. So he's been a corporate industry leader, but he's got 30 plus years delivering training. He's been delivering telecoms mini MBA type programs since 2006. He's also an amateur comedian. So it's good fun, actually, Gordon. And Grant, a finance and innovation expert. Over the years, he's provided a lot of finance training, a lot of leadership training, but also he's sort of focused on innovation. At the moment, he spends a lot of his time training government organizations on innovation. So he'll be joining us for the finance session, but we can certainly tap him up for innovation. Stephanie mentioned that it's the whole program is ILM assured. So we've been through the rigorous process of getting our programs, but specifically this one, assured by the ILM. So the Institute of Leadership and Management. I shouldn't really use that. It's ILM because there is a separate Institute of Leadership. So this is the ILM. So the developing telecom strategy and business has been issued by the ILM specifically. Provides validation and recognition for both the training provider and the learner. So, if you do put this on your CV afterwards, it's an ILM assured program. So it's really a symbol of learning excellence and quality. And it's reassurance for you guys that the training undertaken meets best practice standards. So the ILM brand is recognized worldwide, but you can see the sort of hoops that we've jumped through in terms of getting this program assured. Just because we want to make sure that there's no perceived risk from you guys attending. But just to stress, we've been doing this for a long time. Okay, so what about the objectives? Right, so to make better business decisions, to take a more active and valuable role in the evolving company culture, innovation and processes. So this is, when you get back into the business after having done this program, you should be in a better position to make business decisions. You should be able to focus with more clarity on maximizing value creation for your organization and your customers. You should be able to help break those silo barriers, better lead, support, and enhance the performance of your people and teams, develop more effective strategies, assess ideas and opportunities more rigorously, and be able to establish a blueprint for leading effective telecoms business and implement it. Now, we did say we want to bring clarity to things, right? So actually, sometimes we don't even show that slide on the welcome. We just go straight to this. So what we want to do on the program is build clarity, confidence to make decisions, and creative drive, because that's what we need in telecoms and the adjacent industries. If we're going to really make, if we're going to build value, make money, make revenues, make profit from all the opportunities that are presenting themselves, we need that creative drive and the confidence and the clarity to make the right decisions. So what are we looking at? So the sort of three prongs to it are, we're looking at trying to develop an optimized strategy and the right positioning for a telecoms company. Now, when I say telecoms company, if you work for a vendor, a network vendor, if you work for a regulator, You need to understand where the telecoms companies are at, where the operators are at. You know, as an industry, everything flows through the telecoms operator. You know, it's where we think about the services and we think about perhaps the competition from the hyperscalers, but it's where we think about the regulation. You know, it's all to do with the telecoms company. So we're looking at developing an optimized strategy and positioning, or at least understanding that in terms of operators. We're looking at companies in high tech and digital. We're looking at the key performance enablers, and we're looking at fully aligning business activities, and a little bit more detail on that. So the optimized strategy and positioning is about understanding industry direction and dynamics, identifying key opportunities, and building competitive advantage. And in terms of a business with key performance enablers, any business, not just in telecoms, but especially in telecoms, agility, customer centricity, culture, innovation, and risk profile and partnering. You know, they're all really important. And of course, the fully aligned business activities, well, it's what we do with the technology, it's what we do with the business models and the finance and the people and leadership, and what we do in terms of operations and customer proposition and the governance and the transformation. In fact, there's a ton of things to look at, and we do all of this, believe it or not, in a week. And we got it down to a T in terms of working through pretty much all of this, but in a way that is fun and is fairly natural in terms of learning. You know, we're not going to ask you to do loads and loads of homework during the course, a little bit, but not a huge amount. But you can see that we've got strategy, we've got key performance enablers, and then we've got the business models and the finances and the leadership. And we set out a lot of the things that we're actually doing in each of the subject areas. And hopefully, if you take time to look at this diagram after the call, after this webinar, this will all make sense. You'll look at it, you'll say, yeah, you know, they are the things that we need to know about to be a good leader in telecoms. But of course, you'll probably looking at that, and some of you will notice that where's the technology? Well, everything is in the context of telecoms, in terms of the industry, in terms of the technology, and in terms of the move towards connected innovation, supporting those other industries. So how do we do it? Well, during the 5 days, in dark blue there, we've got sessions with the experts, and in blue we've got teamwork where you guys actually work on in your teams, culminating really in your team presentation at the end of the week. But I'll more on that in a second. But you can see on day one, it's about the industry, business, and technology insights. Day two, we talk about strategy and business models. Then in the afternoon, we talk about finance and financial analysis. Day three, it's all about people. And I'll be honest, the more I've delivered on these sort of programs over the years, the more I think that day is that this is the really crucial day. You know, you can have all the best ideas, you can have a really good set of products and services, but unless you've got your people doing the right things and buying into the vision, etc., you're going to go nowhere. So day three, really important. Day four, we're then going to look at the customer proposition. So creating compelling customer propositions, communicating it. So obviously marketing, we could say, but wider than that. And then we talk about effective governance and corporate social responsibility. And then we look at transformation, making change. But as I said, the light blue areas, that's where you guys get together in your teams, ready for your team presentation on day 5. So in terms of applying the learning, you know, it's not good just learning the concepts, is it? We need you guys to apply the learning. So we've got teamwork and exercises, we've got case studies and examples, but the real value comes in the group work in terms of the business simulation. But plus, we've got an individual blueprint, which I'll come on to in a second. So in terms of that business simulation in your teams, you're working on a simulated country in the middle of Europe. It doesn't matter where it is. It really doesn't matter. You know, we've run these sort of programs, and occasionally we get asked to go in-house and to change the location, but it really doesn't matter where it is. We've got the same sort of considerations, the same big picture considerations in terms of developing the strategy for a set of companies which are operating in a country. So we use Prudorf. In your teams, you bid for investment in your simulated business on the last day. You will do a 20-minute presentation plus 5 minutes of questions. We make sure that everybody gets involved in every part of it. So any question to any member of the team. You need to clearly demonstrate your view of the ideal telco and how you might transform the existing business. And you're going to get, a dossier to give you all the information you need to be able to do this as a team. In fact, the homework on day one really just got two little bits of homework. One is to read that dossier, and two, we talk about some of the key performance enablers. We also run a blueprint. So it's an individual blueprint. It's really simple. It's an Excel spreadsheet that we give you access to. It's an Excel spreadsheet. You can do what you want with it, really. But it's for you to document and collate and organize your ideas, because you know what it's like. You go on training courses and you come away with some great ideas, but it ends up as shelf development, right? The book goes on the shelf, you don't look at it again. But the idea here is, that there will be some really great moments of clarity on the course. You can document them, put them on the spreadsheet. How might you make change? What sort of models might you use back in the workplace? Well, document it, put it on this spreadsheet. And it takes a little bit of extra work while you're on the course itself, but it could be worth its weight in gold. So it's all formatted. You can follow the format to generate your own blueprint for doing business in telecoms, but you can continue to develop it over the coming months and years. And as you move from job to job, you can change it. You can have a second version of it. And as you do more training in and around leading people and leading businesses, you can add to it. So keep it, develop it, regularly assess it, align it with your activities as your career progresses. In terms of the resources, really comprehensive. We use Padlet. So Padlet is a great tool just so that we can put everything online. So we've got the courseware, we've got the exercises, business simulation, blueprint, the additional resources, and links to course tools and videos. And of course, after the course, once you guys have presented, your own presentations can go up there as well. It is ILM assured, as we said, so that we have got, documents, health and safety documents, data protection, complaints and grievance. Not that anybody's going to fail this. It's going to be hopefully a really good afternoon on day 5 where we have a bit of fun and we present our ideas and you get some feedback. But we've got all the documents in place if anybody needs to see any of that. Okay, so I think we've got time for some questions. So Stephanie, I don't know if you want to moderate the questions.
Yeah, I can see we have 2 questions in the chat, and then I'll ask around. So one is on the course details. So we'll send round the recording and the PowerPoint. And we can also send round further details on the course that's taking place the 2nd to the 6th of December. And then could you please share more details about analytics and customer centricity? Is it about CEM or beyond?
We do talk about it. We don't go into detail. I mean, it's a 5-day course where we cover pretty much all aspects of business. So, but what you can do is in your groups, you can put a special feature into your presentation, and we can do some work on it, Saqib, if that makes sense for you. I did say earlier in the presentation, this is about taking the information and making it relevant to your own context. So we can do some additional work on it for sure.
Thank you. Can I ask you something else as well?
Yes.
Yeah, sure. So actually, I've been in CM for last 10 years, but I think that now, there is something coming up more than CM. So this is something that I was interested that you have some methodology beyond CM, or we will be only covering that customer centricity, as you said.
No, it's going to be customer centricity, just because of the amount of material that we need to get through. But having said that, after the course anyway, there's always follow-up, there's always signposting, and there's always interaction after the course as well. So yeah, we can look at it, but also we got to talk about AI as well, what that can do in terms of customer centricity and the machine learning aspects. So we'll certainly be bringing that sort of aspect into it.
Thank you so much. Thanks.
Okay. Okay, so Stephanie's answered the price of the course, and yeah, Mira's asking if the course is available on a distance learning basis. I don't know if you want to take that one, Stephanie.
I think at the moment the course is only at this in-person classroom-based mode, but that is definitely something we can discuss internally to see if any arrangements can be made.
Mira, it works best face-to-face, to be honest. It's you can sort of look at it in a couple of ways. First of all, if you do it on a public basis and you get lots of different people in from different organizations and different countries and different parts of the world, you get a lot of different ideas, and you get some opportunities to sit down, even if it's over lunch, but discuss those ideas and swap contact details as well. But the second thing is, if a company takes this in-house, and I've got to say, over the years, we've delivered more in-house than public. To take it in-house, you get a group of management, a layer of management in one room at the same time, 20, 25 people. And they can share information, and they build the knowledge base, they build their ideas, but they do it together. So when they actually get back into the workplace, they're in a really good position, because they suddenly understand what everybody else understands as well, which means that they can have some really good discussions, which go well beyond what they were able to do before they actually attended the course as a group. So there's a couple of different dynamics going on, really. The public courses are slightly different to the in-house courses, but both have some really good merits to them. Yeah. Okay, guys, any more questions? Any other, or anybody got any other thoughts? Anybody attended a mini MBA style program previously? Honestly, it's my favorite course without a shadow of a doubt. Love delivering these courses, because it just brings everything together. I do a lot of studying on the way the brain works and how we learn as well. So that presentation at the end of the week, it's doing two things. It's bringing a sense of urgency for you guys, and it's also bringing a sense of focus. And actually, that means acetylcholine as one of your brain chemicals, and noradrenaline, which is your adrenaline in your brain as well. You need those two things in adult learning to really make a difference in terms of things that you learn. So the presentation at the end of the week serves the actual learning process really, really well. Okay, Stephanie, I think thanks, Eric. Appreciate it as always.
If that's the last of the questions, thank you everyone for attending the webinar. We hope to see you in December. We will send out the recording of this webinar, and yes, please feel free to email me any questions at sburrell@raycastle.com.
Thank you so much for this presentation.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Cheers.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
You're very welcome. Thanks, everybody. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks. Bye-bye.